I wanted to review how to lay out these four views. This view is drawings rotated 90 degrees, but we're going to build this part and just lay out the views. I want to show you how to do the engineering ISO view. You've already been shown how to do these three views, so I'm going to do a video on how to do the ISO view portion of this. For figure 5-8 in the book, we're going to build all four views like they're showing you and then put in the dimensions. So I want to go to CATIA here, and on this face we'll do a sketch. And I know this part is relatively small, but we'll I don't have the exact measurements. It's not what I'm going for. I'm going for the actual engineering view. I'm going to auto constrain this, reference these two elements and stack it. And then set these two lines as my anchors. And also in the dialog box, we want to remove the horizontal verticals. Okay, part's fully constrained. We can go ahead and exit. Build a pad. Damn it. Reverse the direction. Well, I'm in metric here. What you can do is go to space IN and it will calculate the metric. Okay. Actually, I think that part's a little bit thinner. Maybe I'll just do 1 IN and it'll calculate that to 25.4 millimeters. Reverse the direction so the numbers are in the front. This is the front view right here, that side. Select OK. Now we're ready to make a drawing. So we go into the drafting workbench. So I should have on my favorites right here. And I'll just quickly go to view layout and throw in a drawing border of some sort. It's a pretty small part. Let's try a C-size drawing. Uh-oh. Had this happen before. Create that and then apply. And then we will go ahead and I guess I'll just lay out the views anyway. So I'll go to this here, select this face, click that position, and it creates my primary view. And we'll go ahead and do let's view the frames. We'll move this over a bit. You know, since this part is so small, it would behoove us to change the scaling properties to 2:1 scale. The part's a little easier to see. Most prints are printed at half scale. So now when they get the half scale print, they'll be looking at the full scale part. I'll go back to the layout and lay out the principal view. So the principal view will be over here on this side. And I'll do another principal view over here. So we've done the front view, the principal views. Let's do an isometric view. So we select isometric view. Go back into space. You want to make sure you're in the ISO view. So when I click on this, it will build it on the ISO view. If it's clocked in a different orientation, it will assume you want that orientation. Okay, I'll click on that. It'll create the isometric view. I'll slide this view over here. We don't want to have hidden lines. So what you want to do is on the isometric view, go into your properties, make sure that we review the generation and don't generate the hidden lines. In fact, for most cases, I don't need the axes or the fillets or the center lines, even though I don't have any of these in this view. Typically, all of that is off, so I have a nice, clean, isometric view. Now, you really don't always dimension the isometric view. The isometric view is foreshortened elements so that the lengths are not the true line lengths. But I'm a nice guy and I like to give the overall dimensions to the planner so they can plan out what raw stock material they need to order. So if I were to do that, again, not all groups mandate that, but I could just go ahead and click these two vertical lines. I could click, I double click the dimension to keep it on. I could click this line and do this line and do this line and do this. So that would be one way to do it, and I wouldn't have that one down there. Okay, so I wanted to show you this. This would be one technique, or I'll undo out of these. If I did this one by grabbing parallel lines, then I would do the next one by grabbing parallel lines as well. So you just got to ignore that 0.4, and then what you always want to do is line up those arrowheads. Okay, and then I would grab this one and then this one. All right, so you could grab a single line or you could grab two parallel lines. I'd want to move this text down and out of the way, so I got to turn the dimension off and move this out of the way for a bit. And then we've got to highlight these to do the num dink. So right click in properties. We're going to change this to might change my values to decimal inches. So DNC, the num dink. Select apply, and you'll see that these go to inches. All right, I'm not saying that these are the dimensions of the part. I'm giving you an example of how to manipulate the isometric view and how to put on these dimensions. Now, when you double click that, these red triangles come up. Sorry, when you click on it, you can click on the red triangles, and I can put in a parenthesis after it or parenthesis before that. Now, since that parenthesis gets close, you might want to move this out a bit so the parenthesis doesn't get too close to your part. Okay, so again, I click on that, I click the red triangle and put a parenthesis before it, and it remembers what I did last time. So I can just hit enter. Another way to do that would be to put a ref in capital letters at the end, indicating that this is a reference dimension. So parentheses or reference means it's a reference call out, letting the shop know, hey, this is not a true length of the part. So this is known, that's known as a true size and shape. It's a TSS. So the orthographic views that we laid out for the primary and principal views are TSS views. That means they're true size and shape. Where this is a foreshortened view, meaning that these lines are foreshortened and do not represent the true length of the part. It's just a visual isometric view so that we can get an idea of what it looks in the three-dimensional environment. Now, if the triangles don't show up, you have to go to your preferences, legacy, mechanical, drafting, handles, the tab handles on the top. I have all my modifiers turned on so that I can edit those. If you do not turn on your modifiers, then you will not have the icons to select to make edits to your dimensions. Okay? So we'll just go ahead and click OK to that. The other thing is we want to call off this is an isometric view. So if it has a part number like a -100, you would say -100 isometric view, all in capital letters. Okay, I made a mistake here. At the end of that, you want to hit Shift Enter and type in engineering in reference only. Okay, I'm double downing that, hey, I'm not really required to give you an isometric view. I'm just being a nice guy, giving you an isometric view as a reference, as all my dimensions are reference. Again, you either do all parentheses or you do all ref. You wouldn't do a mixture of them. I just gave you two options. Okay, I'm going to double click on that, and I'm going to type in the thing I always make a mistake on is when I want to get another line, you got to hit Shift Enter to get the next line going. And this is going to be scale : none. Now, all this text looks kind of big to me, so I'm going to highlight this and then right click over here and go to Properties. The font height is 3.5, which is correct. 7, the title is -100 isometric view. That should be twice this. So I'm going to highlight this. I find it easier to highlight in the text editor, but you got to go up here to go to right click Properties and change that to 7 and hit Apply. And the title for this part is twice the size as your regular text. Okay, so just looking at my isometric view only, this is how I laid out the view, put on my overall length, width, and height so that the part planners can look at this and determine raw stock material, and they can also verify the dimensions off the orthographic view, which need to be there. And then we have a note stating that this isometric view is engineering reference only, therefore it's a scale none. And that's how you insert an engineering ISO view.